Hey, changemakers and visionaries. This is Reimagining Community, where we dive deep into the stories of leaders who are reshaping the world, one community at a time. I'm your host, Garland Fuller, and every episode is a radical act of connection. We're not just talking about change, we're breaking down how real people are creating it right here, right now. This podcast is more than conversations. It's a bridge where we are sharing stories that offer insight and inspiration. Whether you're an entrepreneur, consultant, volunteer, artist, or an organizational leader, this is your space to listen and learn. This is your call to create impact in the communities you hold dear and that hold you up. Let's reimagine what's possible together. Welcome, everyone. Reimagining Community, quarterly check-in. We've got the wonderful Marissa Garza, the amazing Allison S. Weiss, and myself, Garland Fuller. We are going to talk about the words that we picked, how we're feeling so far, because it's been a ride, I would say.
Yes.
We're still here, though. We're still here.
We are still here. We are still here holding it down. So we're going to start with just how everyone's doing. So we'll start with you, Allison. How's it going? How are you feeling so far?
Sure. So I think I'm actually wearing the same thing, although it was very cold when I was talking to you. And I think I was in Franklin at the factory, and now I'm in my camper and it's warm. It's beautiful outside. It's green. I am feeling all the feelings this year. I feel alternately exhilarated and excited, and also the opposite of those things. And I think the personal growth, the things that I've been working on have been really exciting and inspiring. And that's sometimes tempered by everything else that's happening in the world right now. And so just figuring out what is the balance, how much we let in, how much we take on, and trying to carve out my own little corner of the world for myself and still stay engaged in the civic process and all the things that we can actually do in this country. That's where I'm at. I'm eager to hear what everybody else has to say.
Marissa?
Where am I? That is a question I think I ask myself pretty much every day. Where am I? Where am I in the emotional spectrum, in time, in space?
Yes.
If that gives you any indication as to how I'm doing in 2025, that's how it's going. I dealing with the 2025 of it all. It's hard. I'm not going to go around it. It's a hard time to be alive. And at the same time, I'm grateful to be alive. And balancing, like you were talking about, Allison, balancing those two ends of the spectrum constantly. And I feel, did you ever play Topple?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a game where there's a balancing pyramid, and then you put little pieces on the pyramid and you have to keep the pyramid from not falling over. I feel like that is my emotional time in 2025. Professionally, I've been working on putting out new stuff for podcasters and things like that. So I've had a lot of creative energy, which has been to observe in myself during this time, because when I was going through school, I was a history major. So this is big time for me. I'm the history is here. We are here in the history. And I asked myself, what would I be doing during this time? How would I be living? And I'm answering that question for myself pretty much every day by trying to remain informed, take care of the community around me, take care of myself in the process, and let go of the things that don't matter as much. So to have dirty dishes for a day, police aren't going to come find me. Everything, I think, if I were to choose a word now, I think it would be balance. But I did not choose that word at the beginning of the year.
Oh my gosh. I'm right there with you all. I feel like it has been a obstacle course. You're going through, and then it's, you got to get on the rope, and then you got to tight rope across, and then, this looks easy. I think I can do this one. And then you're halfway up the wall and you're like, oh my God, why is this so tall? It feels like a lot is happening. So I'm right there with you. I feel walks. I've been doing walks every morning. And I feel like this is what's been keeping me in myself, because it's like a routine process of every morning you go, You're going to spend at least 20 minutes grounded, walking around, smelling, and we're talking headphone-free walks. Like, that's the thing too, when you put the music on or whatever, I'm like projecting, doing an audio book. I like want to do one so bad, but I'm like, no, you need to just walk around
in the moment.
In the
You can do
moment,
it. You can do
breathe,
it.
see the coyote that could be coming down your way, see the little cottontail bunny walking across the path. So it's been great for that. And so I feel like if I do that in the morning, then whatever else happens, it's whatever it is. So that's been great. But let's talk about our words.
Oh,
Did
boy.
we all dig up our words that we picked? And how we feel like we're doing with those words?
I did have to look at my words. I had to remember my words, which tells you how I'm doing with my words. This whole thing is like, Marissa from the past, you had a totally different view of what Marissa from right now would be going through. My words for the year were anchor, weave, and elevate, because I knew I was going to have to anchor myself. Like, this much I knew going into 2025. Like, I knew I was going to have to ground myself in something. And then I was like, if I'm going to ground myself in something, I need to integrate what I'm grounding. And then I want to take it to another place. I am in the ground. Like, ground is there. I may have turned myself into an anchor. And I think that's okay. I think that goes towards what I went to earlier about, like, maybe I was a little overambitious, and it's okay to let some things go. And it's okay to reorient myself to the now and not necessarily hold myself up to some ideal of what I thought it was going to be in the past. I do find grounding to be really important right now. So that I am doing that. Garland, you shared walks are really important for you. For me, it's reading, spending like quality time with my family. My family's had a lot of stuff going on this year and continues to have a lot of stuff going on. So it's nice to have time with them that's not necessarily solving a crisis or solving a problem. Just taking those moments, really being aware of those moments and taking them with me to keep me grounded as everything goes on. I may graduate to weaving and elevate, but this may be a 3-year plan for me at this point.
It's so real. It's so real.
Weaving is one of those things that you do to keep yourself going. So you're maybe weaving things in, but not what you initially thought you'd be weaving.
I appreciate that, Garland. I will take that with me. Thank you.
Okay. Allison?
So I was thinking back to some of my words as well. One of them was impact, which I said and then said, oh goodness, I don't want to be like impacted by a car, or you have to be so careful with the universe sometimes that you're specific. So impact in the work that I'm doing, which I have felt that. And that has been great. Another word I was thinking about, and also this hat that I wear all the time, is to remind me of, transformation and metamorphosis and all of the beautiful changes taking place in nature all the time. Grounding was not a word that I had going into the year, but now that we're having this conversation about grounding, I've bought a grounding mat for my bed that I sleep on. I am walking around barefoot a lot. I am going for long walks in the morning and at night in the same way, just trying to keep myself in the present moment. And again, fighting the urge to listen to a podcast. The great news is I'm so far out in the middle of nowhere that I don't get a signal for anything. And so that, I think, assists me. And also looking around at the beautiful world that we live in and remembering that the chaos is all something that's being created and manufactured. And it's not the truth of the situation that I'm actually in, which takes me a little bit out of the fight or flight of the experience that we're having right now. I feel like I had a third word and I'm not remembering it, which is so on brand that I think we'll just leave it. But I'm excited about the impacts. That's a focus, I think, for the rest of the year. And I think there is transformation happening too in my life. And some of that has been confusing, challenging, painful, but all in my benefit, I think. So that's where I'm at.
All right.
It has been fun to witness the impact, Allison, I will say. It has, so validation on you making it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Women Speak is doing its thing.
It is. And you guys have been a part of that, which has been such a fun journey to have friends along the way supporting and working on the project with me too. So I do feel like it's cool to be a person that I could have used 10 years ago in my
Yeah.
career. And so it feels like that full circle moment because my beginning in commercial real estate also coincided with some really challenging things for me personally. And so to be on the other side of that and to have this voice and this platform and this opportunity feels really special.
Yeah. Okay. I picked one word and
Yes.
it's still going. It still feels very real. Release. I think
Yeah.
it's been this past quarter. Yes, I put out some stuff, but I feel like I also have been just with my artist way journey, meandering through. I have been releasing my expectations of myself. I've been releasing old emotions that haven't been serving me. I have been releasing this idea of you have to do it one way or it has to look a certain way. It's been a lot of just, okay, you don't have to do anything the way you used to do it. Do what you want. I also feel like I've been releasing my responsibility with my daughter, been letting her go in terms of she forgot her shoes. And I was like, you're just going to have to not have your shoes today because guess what? I'm not going to go and drive your shoes to the school. So you're just going to have to be okay with that. And in the morning, if you're late.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
been fantastic because now I'm not responsible. I'm not responsible for that. So it's been great releasing responsibility also from other people's stuff. So that's been fantastic. Yeah.
It's a
I will
good
also,
word. It really is a good
yeah.
word. And I think especially if you are a compulsive joiner and doer and achiever, I think sometimes you are the person who things are thrust upon or that we take these things on ourselves because we feel like if we don't, they're not going to get done. And sometimes it's okay that things don't get done.
It's been
Yep.
really great you've been a good example for me, Garland, in terms of witnessing releasing because we're done some work together and you had come in with a very clear idea of what you wanted to do and it's been really fun to watch you release that idea and land somewhere completely different. Not that I didn't want your first idea to be successful, but it's been so great to just see you following your instinct and your intuition and trusting in that along this path of release. So thank you for being an example for me.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're not hustling anymore.
No.
We're
No.
not doing that. So either the deadline's going to get dropped or we're going to drop the things that we put in there that we were supposed to do. But what we're not going to do is stress out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's been great. Okay. So I know we are book readers, podcast listeners. We also enjoy inputting things into our lives, things. I want to know about what you have been taking in, if anything, or if you have been decreasing what you've taken in, what you decided to, where your energy has shifted to instead. Because I feel we love a good book, we love a good podcast, we love a good movie, we love a good show.
Yeah.
Love all those things. I would love to say that I've read like some really profound book and really drop some knowledge on you. However, I have not had the capacity to really learn anything new. So, have I downloaded a bunch of books I plan on reading? Yeah. Do I have books on my TBR? Yes. Even in podcasting, I have like skewed away from listening to podcasts about like how to do something or like those sort of like inspirational stories. I will listen to like astrology podcasts or something that's a little bit lighter. On the book front, I am reading so many rom-com type books, like just easy to read, easy to digest, and it like helps quiet my mind down before I go to bed. And it's like really regulating for me in that way. I know in the artist way there's this whole thing like don't put anything in your brain for an X amount of time. And I think that's really hard to do sometimes, and just like lowering the volume. I'm not necessarily like going cold turkey on this because I think I could if it were not 2025 or even 2024 or even 2023. You know, where I pick a year prior to 2016. That is when I could probably do this. But I have just been keeping low on that front. On TV, I have been rewatching ER because I got into The Pit. The Pit was great on HBO. I am a Noah Wyle stan. Like, Noah Wyle came on my television at the right time for a teenage girl to see Noah Wyle on television. And so I have just been a Noah Wyle fan since back then. So I watched The Pit. Highly recommend. A great creative project. Lots of continuity. Like, really inspiring from that front, and also like the message of what it's saying about the medical system and the people who work in it. And then there's 15 seasons of ER to go into. So I've just been putting that on every day. I usually will watch Survivor every week. I haven't picked that up in a while, not because I don't want to, but I think that just like the comfort of like ER, and it's interesting. Like, it's always been interesting being a Chicagoan and watching ER because it's like your backyard. Yeah, a little nice thing there. So that's what I've been up to. I wish I had some prolific thing, but I will just say John Carter. That's all I got to say for Dr. John Carter. You can just live in my TV forever.
The shows are important right now.
Yeah.
So I have been reading less than last year. I actually keep a list every year of the books that I'm reading, and like the analog way. I used to do it in that app that I can't think of the name of right now with the B.
Oh.
Anyhow. Oh, did you just say what it was, Marissa?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh, okay.
But if you don't want to say it, I'm not saying it. So I'm not saying it.
No, I can't remember what it's called.
With a G or with a B?
With a B, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I don't know that one.
I don't know. Anyway, there's an app. You can track it in an app if you want to. The reason that I like writing it in analog is that I then highlight what type of book genre I'm dealing with. And I try to like not overwhelm my brain with too many of one category, because I feel like I've gone in these streaks where I'm just trying to learn all the time. And what happens is I learn nothing because there's so many different messages and conflicting messages that it all gets thrown out. And so I'm in a fiction place, but I'm also reading this very interesting book about the Rothschild family and the women of the Rothschild family. It is fascinating. First of all, I love the Gilded Age history and the Gilded Age show. And I find it fascinating how at the same time the Industrial Revolution was happening, the West was getting settled, and all the different like parallels in time. And I am also a history nerd, so this is like the Super Bowl that we're living in, but not in a good way. But this particular book has me rethinking about how these fascinating families that have built, and I don't know that built is the right word, probably colonized is the better word, these different industries in these different parts of our country and other countries. And the men were the only people that were ever talked about. And so the history that I know is John D. Rockefeller and not necessarily the women in his family. And so this book specifically is really fascinating because she, wow, internalized misogyny right there. It's a female author. My goodness. So anyhow, I love this book. I think it's fascinating. I think it's so cool also because it goes through so many generations of this family, and it chooses different characters and talks about their relationships with each other, how they were in cutting edge spaces and places and conversations. And because they were shut out of the business properly by the patriarch of this family, the women they had to move and do things differently. And it wasn't just that the women couldn't be part of the family, it was the family business. It was the women and the women's husbands. And so what happened in that family is they started to marry their cousins so they could have, it's a whole thing. And it's fascinating. And I am not an advocate of cousin marriage. Throw that out there. It's a really good book. And this is the worst review of it ever, but I'm finding it fascinating. It reads like a novel. It's a historical book, but very well done and fascinating.
Okay. Yeah. feel like I have not been reading as much, or I read I'll take a break. I read something and then I'll stop at a chapter because I have to like process and integrate. I'll pick it back up like a month or 2 weeks later and then read another chapter. And so that's been working for me, which I've never done this before. I'm usually like finish the book. Now I'm like, you know what? I'll finish the book when I finish the book. And if I stopped, it's because there's something there that I am thinking about or working on. And then I'll pick it back up. And then there's something else that'll be there that I'm supposed to get. And so I read books in part now, which is like weird, but working. And so it's just, okay, I take a little bit and I do this and I do that. And so Buy Back Your Time, I think I'm on chapter 2. And I just was like, okay, I'm going to just stop here and figure out what are the things that I don't like doing. And I'm going to just offload those things and how that's supposed to work. And so that way, when I do it, I'll feel like I did it. Now I can go and tackle the next chapters after that. So that's how I deal with those books, because I feel like if I, like you read them and you read them and you read them, and then it's just like too many things. So that's been great. My Artist Way, I am meandering through that thing. I am on the chapter with the don't consume too much. And the thing is,
the diet. Yeah.
30 years ago, boo, we didn't have what we have today.
Yes. Exactly.
And the fact that there's even streaming and I don't have TV, I'm already cutting out a lot. I don't see very much advertised anything. If I decide to pick up something, it's an intentional reason to pick it up. So I still watch stuff, but have hours, like between the hours of this and that. At the end of the day, we watch TV. I don't have TV on in the morning, TV on in the day. And so I feel like when she's talking, I feel like the kid that grew up in the 80s, who the TV was just on
all the time. Yeah.
I could see, yes, you need that. But like, it's been edited. So if I choose at this point, I do make an effort to journal. I do make an effort to do that because that feels new. Or just different for me. And the voice notes feels new and different. So that is my way of trying to integrate what she's saying. But it's been a thing. And I don't know. I feel like shows, I got through White Lotus in 2-3 sittings, Riley and I and Stefan, and we like watch and we like have whole conversations about the cringe and the characters. We literally were doing a whole character, I don't even want to know, like analysis, and that is fun.
That is fun. Yeah.
And so that's essentially like my like thing that I enjoy doing for just how you have ER to just whatever.
Brain vacation.
I like do that. Yeah.
White Lotus was good this season.
It was very good. It was very good. I don't know if y'all are watching the Righteous Gemstones, but that just ended. And
it did. Yeah, I still have to get caught up.
I refuse to accept that it is over based on the way that it ended. I'm just refusing putting that out in the universe. That wasn't it. Try again. I'm ready for another season. Danny McBride, I don't care that you don't want to do it. America needs you right now. I'm not ready to be done with that.
You're being called to service, Danny McBride.
Yeah.
No, my goodness. So we had picked songs. I remember everyone's song because it was so good.
Yes.
Defying Gravity, Marissa Garza.
Yeah. I love
This
how
is
I
me.
chose...
This is me, Allison Weiss.
Yes. Huge fan.
Okay. Marissa?
I was just going to say, I love how I chose Defying Gravity as a song and Anchor as a word. That was real great. That was really just setting me up for that whole topple story of my entire year so far. Works, peeps. I'm sticking with it, though. I think it's a song that will bring me through to the other side of 2025. And I think I have been leaping. I have been doing things that I didn't think I would be doing. Like, I honestly, even though as much as I wanted to start my own business, I never thought it would be a thing that I could like logistically live with and logistically do.
Yeah.
And I can't do it alone. I've had great
Sure.
support from those of you on the podcast as well as others. And that has been like a lesson and a leap of its own. So I'm going to stick with it and just know that I did this to myself.
All right. Okay, Allison.
You've got to be careful what you say.
For real.
For real. It's really funny. After we had this conversation, I took each of your songs and I put them on my liked Spotify list and will listen to them periodically. And after you chose Defying Gravity, Marissa, I decided I really needed to see Wicked because I hadn't, which is crazy town because I'm a huge musical person. And that sent me down the rabbit hole of Wicked over and over on Peacock, which has been fun. And I really have enjoyed it. I do think I want to continue to own my song, although I have realized that I don't enjoy the arrangement as much as I used to. There is like this scream singing part of it. And I think it can also be soft and beautiful and elegant. And so I'm trying to either, and maybe this is like me doing some music work with myself, is like figure out an arrangement that I like of that song.
Oh.
Yeah. And maybe record it for myself or find someone who is performing that song differently and find a new version of it. Because I think the meaning, the words still speak to me, but I'm getting tired of the particular version that I'm listening to. And so now I need a new version.
I wonder if, have you looked on Spotify and seen if there's some other versions, meaning like arranged versions? Because there's like these jukebox ones, and then there's always jazz, and there's always people who take the songs and redo them. That's something to consider. I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, it does get very like in your face.
Yeah,
And
it
that
does.
might be
Confrontational.
a little bit too much from time to time. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think about Simply the Best, how it was arranged for Schitt's Creek. And that particular, I'm looking for that kind of energy, I think, around the song. And so I need to fall down the rabbit hole with that. And I just haven't yet.
Got it. Okay. Show Yourself is still showing.
Yes.
It still feels relevant. It still feels like fresh. Yeah. We're still stepping into our power, showing ourselves. And we have come so far. So I'm going to keep it. I feel like I haven't looked to see if there are any other arrangements of that either. Disney, they love a good ballad. So
Yeah.
a heroine ballad is like a thing.
They used
We'll
to do
see.
those,
But
like,
I
cover
am
competitions.
so glad that we have touched bases. Is there anything else before we leave, ladies?
Here's the 3 more quarters. I'm glad you 2 are in my corner.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
All right. Thank you so much. We will put our songs back in the show notes. We will look for any cool things that we discussed today in the show notes. If a quarterly check-in you'd like to give on this hot mess of a year, feel free to share that, because Lord knows we're all going through it together.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
If this conversation moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because every week we're bringing you more stories of real transformation. Drop a comment, share your thoughts, and tag the folks in your circle who need to hear this. Want to go deeper? Check out the Community Impact Collective. Sign up for my newsletter. The link is in the description. Now is the time. Are you in?